Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Neha. I am currently working as a senior resident in pulmonary medicine in GMC Nagpur. So today's my topic is community acquired pneumonia. We discuss the community acquired pneumonia under this subsection. First is introduction, then classification, then clinical features and diagnosis, and last is the management and the prevention. So the specific learning objectives, that is we discuss is the general aspect of the community acquired pneumonia and discusses the various types of the pneumonia and the risk factors, and discusses the diagnosis and the management part of the community acquired pneumonia. So in introduction, pneumonia can be defined as an acute infection of the lung, which is characterized by clinical and radiographic finding of the consolidation. So there are both the clinical and radiographic findings of consolidation present in pneumonia. So clinical findings are the symptoms of the acute lower respiratory tract illness, which is less than 1 week, and at least one of the systemic features are present, like fever, like temperature more than 37.7 degree, chills and rigors and severe malaise, and new focal chest sign on examination like bronchial breathing and crackles on auscultation, and also with no other explanation for the illness, like acute respiratory symptoms can be present as a pulmonary edema and pulmonary infarction. So after rule out this, can be defined as a pneumonia, and with the absence of these clinical when the chest radiography is available, then community acquired pneumonia is also defined with the symptoms and sign as we discussed above, with the new radiographic shadowing for which there is no other explanation. So we focus on community acquired pneumonia, which is defined as a pneumonia acquired in the community where the host defense are normal. So classification of the pneumonia, the empiricist classification, that is community acquired pneumonia, host acquired pneumonia, which is occurred in the after admission, more than 48 hours after the admission, and aspiration pneumonia, immunocompromised host pneumonia. So here we focus on the community acquired pneumonia. Another type is the behaviorist classification, that is easy pneumonia and difficult pneumonia. Then most important classification is the microbiologist classification. It is divided into two, bacterial pneumonia and non-bacterial pneumonia. In bacterial pneumonia, it is a pneumococcal pneumonia, which is due to Streptococcus pneumoniae, then staphylococcal pneumonia, mycobacterial pneumonia. Atypical pneumonia. In atypical pneumonia, it is caused by the Mycoplasma, Chlamydia and Legionella, and other anaerobic pneumonia, and also gram-negative pneumonia. And in non-bacterial pneumonia, that is a viral pneumonia, which is most common is coronavirus, and other also there is H1N1 para-influenza virus, and fungal pneumonia and parasitic pneumonia. So it is also the etiological factors for the community acquired pneumonia, and other is anatomist classification, that is lobar pneumonia, segmental pneumonia, subsegmental pneumonia and bronchopneumonia. So the defense factor in the host, in cellular there is macrophage, epithelial cell and neutrophils, and in mechanical and structural there is a nose, cough and gag, or the gag reflex, airway branching, mucociliary clearance, normal oropharyngeal flora, and humoral molecular inflammatory mediators like IgG, IgA, cytokines and colony-forming factors. Then risk factors for the community acquired pneumonia. First is the chronic respiratory disease like COPD and bronchiectasis. Second is the alcoholism and smoking. Third is the elderly, mostly more than 65-year age. Then diabetes mellitus, immunocompromised state, enteral tube feeding, cerebrovascular disease and other chronic neurological disorders. Then pathogenesis, the first is see the entry of the pathogen in the host. First is the aspiration, mostly common in pneumococcus, and inhalation like TB and viral infection, inoculation, then colonization like in COPD and bronchiectasis patient, hematogenous spread, and direct, that is adjacent abscess. Then pathophysiology, that is infection to the lung. First, it is likely due to bacterial or viral infection. Then it causes the inflammatory response initiated. Then causes the alveolar edema and exudate formation. Then alveoli and respiratory bronchioles fills with the serous exudate blood cells, fibrin and bacteria. And then consolidation of the lung tissues form. Then we discuss the stages of the pneumonia. That first is the congestion, second is the red hepatization, third is the gray hepatization, and fourth is the resolution. Then clinical features, that is common symptoms of community acquired pneumonia are the fever, cough may be dry or wet cough, and then sputum production. According to the sputum production, we diagnosed as like if there is greenish sputum, then it is mostly due to pseudomonas, and black sputum, it is mostly fungal, likely aspergillus, and other symptoms are the dyspnea and pleuritic chest pain. Other symptoms like headache, myalgia, generalized weakness, which are mostly common in viral infection. And in atypical community-acquired pneumonia, extrapulmonary manifestation also present, like meningitis, GBS, transverse myelitis, diarrhea, and rash. Then physical examination, there is hyperthermia or hypothermia, tachycardia and tachypnea, and if consolidation was there, then there is increased vocal resonance and dull note. And on auscultation, there is bronchial breath sounds are present, and pleural friction rubs are also present in initial sign of the inflammation of the pleural effusion, and also other sign of the pleural effusion can be present. Then crackles on auscultation, and on pulse oximetry test there is can be hypoxemia present. Then laboratory investigations, like complete blood count, we see the leukocytosis in bacterial pneumonia and leukopenia mostly in viral pneumonia, and blood glucose, urea, and electrolytes are also the regular investigation should be obtained for the diagnosis the community acquired pneumonia. Then sputum gram stain culture. For sputum gram stain culture, yield is 34 to 86%, and blood culture, it is also required in all the hospitalized patients. So sputum gram stain culture and the blood culture, it is obtained in all the hospitalized patient. It is not routinely advised in the outpatient pneumonia. And urine antigen test, it is for Streptococcus pneumonia and Legionella, and PCR, it is for the respiratory viral infections. And then serology, that is, it is a 4-fold rise in titer of specific antibody can assist the diagnosis. And C-reactive protein and the procalcitonin, it is a biomarkers which is not routinely advised in the outpatient management. Only it is advised in severe pneumonia cases. So then radiological, chest radiograph is the cornerstone for the diagnosing the community acquired pneumonia. So it is whenever feasible, then chest radiograph should be obtained in all patients suspected of having the CAP, and the chest radiograph should be repeated if the patient is not improving. And this chest radiograph of PA view suggestive of the asymmetric opacification, likely in right lower zone, and which chill outing the diaphragm, and so it is mostly common in the right lower lobe. Then this is the CT findings show the consolidation with air bronchogram. It is the sign of the pneumonia. So, but it is CT is not routinely advised in the all patients. Only in complicated patients it is advised. Then we discuss the commonly used criteria for the risk stratification in community acquired pneumonia, which are the CURB 65, CRB 65, SMART, COP, SMRT, CO, ATS, IDSA criteria. So most commonly CURB 65 is used because it is easy to calculate, and it is used to detect the site of the care of the patient, like if the patient in a score of 0 to 1, then risk group is 1. So it is a low risk patient. So it can be managed as a outpatient management. And if the score is 2, and it is probably admission is required, or the close outpatient management required, and 3 to 4 score, that is admission managed as a severe. Mostly the ICU management are required. So according to the severity, that is we calculated by this criteria, that is low, moderate and high severity, then preferred treatment was be given. So in low severity cases, the only monotherapy can be given, that like beta-lactam, like amoxicillin. Alternative also macrolide or doxycycline can be given. And then in moderate severe cases, amoxicillin plus clarithromycin. Here we give the combination therapy, and alternate is the doxycycline loading dose, and then 100 mg or levoflox also given. Then in high severity cases, antibiotic given as soon as possible. Benzacyl penicillin plus clarithromycin is given. There is also the combination therapy is given in the severe high severity cases, and alternative is the benzacyl penicillin. So in management part, antibiotics should be started as soon as possible within 1 hour in severe pneumonia cases, and within 4 hours in the mild to moderate cases of this pneumonia. So empiric antibiotic treatment should be started. The factors are the most likely pathogens, the knowledge of the local susceptibility pattern, pharmacokinetic and the pharmacodynamic of the antibiotics, compliance, safety and cost of the drugs, and recently administered drugs. So these are the dose of the drugs used in the community acquired pneumonia. Mostly beta-lactam are used, that is amoxicillin, co-amoxiclav and macrolide like azithromycin, cephalosporin drugs, and then anti-pseudomonal drug like piperacillin, imipenem, meropenem. So this is the flow chart for empiric treatment of the community acquired pneumonia. As we suspected the community acquired pneumonia, then see the age of the patient and see the any risk factors, high risk patient. That is, if there is age less than 60 and no pre-existing lung disease, then we if there is also no, then see the penicillin allergy present or absent. If there is no allergy to the penicillin, and then according to that severity criteria, then we divide it into the mild, moderate and severe. If patient is pneumonia is severe, then combination therapy was given, like amoxiclav and clarithromycin, like beta-lactam and macrolide. If no severe pneumonia, then only monotherapy can be given, that is benzyl penicillin. If there is allergy to the penicillin, then and then also divide the whether it is severe or non-severe. If there is no severe pneumonia, then only monotherapy is sufficient, that is the clarithromycin. If severe pneumonia, then combination therapy was given, that is ciprofloxacin and vancomycin. Then if the age is more than more than 60 and already there is pre-existing lung disease present, then we see the whether patient had a history of allergy to penicillin or not. If there is no allergy to penicillin, then we see the pneumonia was severe or non-severe. If pneumonia is severe, then combination therapy was given like cefotaxime and the clarithromycin. And if pneumonia is not non-severe, then ampicillin and co-amoxiclav was given. It is a monotherapy. Then if the penicillin allergy is present and then no severe pneumonia, then only monotherapy like clarithromycin is given. And if there is severe pneumonia, then combination like ciprofloxacin and vancomycin given. So we discussed the recommendation by the ICS and NCCP guidelines. According to that, then early switch to the oral from the intravenous therapy is safe after clinical improvement in moderate to severe CAP. Antimicrobial therapy should be changed according to the specific pathogen. Then short-term treatment, that is 5 to 7 days, is as effective as conventional treatment with decrease in adverse effect and duration of the hospitalization. Then follow-up chest X-ray, chest radiograph abnormalities may require 4 to 12 weeks to clear. So first clinical improvement was seen and then radiographic improvement was seen. Then outpatient should be treated for 5 days and inpatient for the 7 days. Patient can be considered for discharge if they start accepting orally and clinically improvement like febrile and are hemodynamically stable for a period of at least 48 hours. And fluoroquinolone should not be used for empiric treatment as a TB because TB is most common in India. And so after ruling out the mycobacterial infection by doing the acid-fast bacilli, then we can give fluoroquinolones. Then adjunctive therapies. Steroids are not recommended for the use in the non-severe CAP. Steroids should be used for septic shock or in ARDS secondary to the CAP according to the prevalent management protocol for this condition. Non-invasive ventilation may be used in patient with CAP and acute respiratory failure. So response to the treatment. Patient typically notes subject to improvement within 3 to 5 days of the treatment. More specific clinical criteria for resolution are improvement in tachycardia and hypotension within 2 days, fever and tachypnea and oxygen, partial oxygen level which are the expected in 3 days, and cough and fatigue may take the 14 days or the longer to improve. When we call the therapy failure, when it is two type, early and late. In early, when no clinical response within 72 hours, and late if after 72 hours no clinical response are seen, then it called as therapy failure. Then slow or non-resolving pneumonia. That is, resolution of pneumonia is complete radiographic clearing which take the 6 to 8 weeks. But slow resolving pneumonia, it is called when there is less than complete radiographic clearing at the 4 week, and non-resolving pneumonia is adequate clinical response, but there is less than complete radiograph clearing at 6 to 8 weeks. So for reason for the non-resolving pneumonia are, could be the malignancy, endobronchial obstruction, etc. Then complications of the community acquired pneumonia. Pulmonary are the lung abscess, bronchiectasis and lung fibrosis. Pleural are the pleural effusion. Metastatic infection, pericarditis, endocarditis, meningitis, arthritis and hepatitis. Systemic are ARDS and multi-organ failure. Then prevention, three pillars of the prevention of the community acquired pneumonia is, first is smoking cessation, influenza vaccination and pneumococcal vaccination. Influenza vaccination is the annual vaccination, and pneumococcal vaccination, it is given every 4 yearly. Then the pneumococcal vaccination are given to the chronic cardiovascular, pulmonary, renal and the liver disease, diabetes mellitus, spinal fluid leak, alcoholism, asplenia and immunocompromising condition. And influenza vaccination are these are the high risk patient which advice for the influenza vaccination are the chronic cardiovascular or the pulmonary diseases, chronic metabolic disease, renal dysfunction, hemoglobinopathies, immunocompromising condition and compromised respiratory function or the increased aspiration risk. Then summary, that is a community acquired pneumonia is a leading cause of the morbidity and the mortality worldwide. Most common identified cause of the CAP is a respiratory virus, that is SARS. Then chest radiograph should be recommended in all patients suspecting the CAP, and initial sputum gram stain culture should be obtained in all the hospitalized patient with the CAP, and empiric antibiotics should be started as soon as possible within 1 hour of the diagnosis in severe community acquired pneumonia. Thank you.